Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here, folks. I hope you're having a great day. Taking a look here again at Near Protocol. Got a lot of requests for this one here recently. Some of my community members there, thank you so much for the request. Also, quickly, thanks again for the feedback too. I'm glad that AVAX short at 21% and good 13% there from Bitcoin on the way down for those shorts we took, it being beneficial for you. So thanks again for the awesome feedback. Glad it's working well for you. Obviously, low leverage, low position sizing, folks. That's kind of the best way to go. Highly recommend it. It keeps you in the game and keeps you safe. While you're not growing your accounts like super fast, you're not destroying your account either. That's the key takeaway there. I think people fail to recognize the importance of sustainability in this market. Crypto is not a sustainable market. It is a very tumultuous and terrible market if you're just a random trader, right? If you just kind of go with the flow, easy breezy, it's not going to work. Okay. So again, structure, folks. Make sure every time you take a trade, you have a stop loss in place. You set multiple profit targets. Yes, I said multiple profit targets. If you're not familiar with that, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. Register my Trading Academy community and Signals group. Get you on track if you need to. So liquidation levels, 810, 820, 830. Somewhere in that range, we got some upper liquidation levels there for shorts. We got heavy-ish concentration down here, about 610, 605 range. Okay. So it's important to recognize this because these levels are levels that are constantly pushed towards. Now, just because we have a concentration below doesn't mean the price goes to that direction. It just implies that we want to be mindful of where we put our stop losses and or take profit targets. Oftentimes, liquidation levels are the best place to set your profit targets. So just know if the price goes up, 815 would maybe be a consideration for that. Price goes down, 615. Okay, we're in that little $2 range there. So easy to say, of course. There's always a lot of nuances, but generally that's the concept, is just to kind of be mindful of that. Okay. Now that we're mindful of that, what do we do here? Well, we look at the moving averages and confirm we're still above a pretty healthy amount of pretty nice continuation here. So I'll just draw out a trend line here roughly. Again, this is not exact science here, folks, but I'm just going to draw this out. We can kind of pay close attention to this because oftentimes the 20-day SMA will run concurrent with moving averages, which we're seeing right there. So in this example, I think it's important to recognize that we are in a position where the price action is still looking pretty decent. Okay? The macro is still bullish, for lack of better terms. We're over the 20 and the ascending trend. Okay? So take a look here, of course, as well at the stochastic RSI trying to swing up, MACD kind of plateauing, so to speak, and traditional RSI kind of coming down. These are neutral / bearish signs, but again, doesn't matter as much because we haven't lost that official larger term trend line. Okay. Truth is, though, money flowing away from this coin, price actions due for a correction, and that keep in mind when MFI is coming down, it implies that this most recent uptrend is not that strong. Okay, money flow index shouldn't be coming up or shouldn't be coming down as the price goes up. That's just generally not the way it should work. So if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can kind of see that reflected here. We just lost 50 on the RSI. Money flow is pulling back as well. Obviously, it's more relevant to the more recent downtrend that we're seeing here, because we can see a pretty significant bearish divergence as soon as Bitcoin capped out at that, 71,000, 71.5 mark yesterday, and it's been pulling back ever since. There's a reason we shorted Bitcoin, because it was showing a lot of weakness on smaller time frames. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is still honoring its a larger term ascending trend line, so Bitcoin's still in okay shape. The sky is not falling, but it is more likely than not to fill that CME gap somewhere in the 66 to 64K range, and if that happens, coins like this will continue to bleed out. A lot of coins are aligned with Bitcoin, and identifying those who are not is important. But either way, MACD is diverging here, kind of confirming this downtrend, and there's really no reason to consider a long position at this point. We can see stochastic RSI is trying to swing up, but that doesn't mean much. I would much rather pay attention to the second swing than the first, because the first one oftentimes fails. Look at the hourly, we can confirm as well here if we take a look. Actually, let's note this here too. I forgot to do this here. Based on volume in the most recent time frame here, we can see the most amount of volume here at this level at about $6.67. Now that's important because if we look at the liquidation, we can see a lot of liquidation is just below that level. So why is that important? Well, it's important because that's a support level in most cases based on volume. So oftentimes if the price ends up continuing to pull back, that'd be a common place to consider a long position, or maybe we might get a pivot off that level. So me personally, when I see that, I generally like to set an alert just above or below those levels, depending on the direction, to see if it might be worthwhile getting into a long position at that time. Do I want to take a long right now? Definitely not. I've already identified in the 4-hour and the daily that we're not in good shape. We lose this ascending trend line too. You got to keep in mind, we're also going to be breaking bearish as well. So long at that point may not be viable. I'm going to still going to want to take a look, but between now and then, a lot can happen. So let's see here what needs to happen, first of all, with each mobile cloud. And, ooh, this is not looking good. Okay, so simply put, we are breaking below the cloud here tentatively. We're about 2 hours into this. So if we close today at about 273, this might be a consideration for a short position because we'd close below a key level support at 735. Lagging span would be free and clear of the price action. Conversion line below the baseline would be below the cloud. So a lot of reasons to consider a short position here in the relative near future. Do I think it's appropriate right at this exact time? No. You can get a lot of false positives with hitting the cloud like this, and oftentimes the price could reject. Keep in mind too, the price could come down here and be like, nope, we're not coming below this descending trend. We're going to go ahead and continue higher. Okay, we got 0.382 at 715, 716 range. So a lot of reasons why we still have some good support for this coin in place, but I think there could be somewhat of a free fall if Bitcoin drops, just say 68, 67K, perhaps even 66,000. This seems like a logical stopping point. Okay, so that's just kind of what I'm deriving from this this analysis. I think that we're more likely to go down than up at this point. I think it'd be foolhardy to take a long it right now, expecting the price to just recover. Again, patience, folks. Wait for confirmation. Let today's candlestick close. If we close at just say 730 or lower today, I think there's a solid consideration for a short position there. Yeah, keep in mind this ascending trend line. It's exactly that. It's just a trend line. So if the price comes down to test that level, you can see it doesn't matter too much, right? So please don't get too attached to that. If the price comes like right here and you're like, oh, I'm going to try to buy the dip here because it's an ascending trend line. That's not the way it works. Okay, that's a larger trend line. We pay attention to that later. But for now, we're tentatively bullish on the macro, but everything else is screaming bearish divergence. So you do with that what you will. Me personally, I'm going to wait for confirmation. If we get a closure below 730, I might consider a short to this lower level. If I were to, that would be what, 6%? That's not too bad. 6 times 4, 24%. I could take that. Anyways, I hope that made sense and I described this correctly. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something here today. And if you want to become, again, a better trader, CryptoCash.tech is a site. Link down below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and follow if you haven't already. Help grow the channel. And do yourself a favor. Trade with the best exchange in the world. Bitunix, $5,500 in benefit rewards. So use my link to register. No KYC or VPN required too. They are phenomenal. Thank you, Bitunix, and thank you as well for having a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Thank you.